Hi there, welcome to the Daily Devotional. Today we're looking at the Old Testament character of Caleb, Joshua chapter 14, verses 6 to 15. Jews divided old age into three stages. Age 60 to 70 was the commencement of old age. Age 70 to 80 was the hoary-headed age. At 80, one was said to be well stricken in years. Caleb was 85 when he demanded his inheritance and asked to be given a haunted mountain where the sons of the Anakim ruled. It's never too late to dare to do something for God. Abraham was 75 when he left Ur. Moses was 80 when God met him at the burning bush. John was an old man when he wrote his books. I wholly followed the Lord was Caleb's word to Joshua. Joshua chapter 14 verse 8. He had followed the Lord fully. He'd been born in a ghetto in Goshen about the time Moses had fled from Egypt. Oh, how he longed for a saviour. When Moses came back as Israel's kinsman redeemer, Caleb had become one of his devoted followers. He had been sheltered behind the blood of the Passover lamb. He had been baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. He had been gathered with God's people around the table in the wilderness. He had feasted on bread from heaven, drunk water from the riven rock, and smitten Amalek, a type of the flesh, with the edge of the sword. He had even been over Jordan. So where others saw a diabolical foe, Caleb saw a defeated foe. Caleb could say, I have wholly followed the Lord. Then too, he followed the Lord fearlessly. Note his calm assessment of the outlook. The way ahead promised to be arduous. It was a mountain, he claimed. Caleb knew it would be an uphill fight all of the way. It promised to be dangerous, for the sons of the Anakim were there, a hybrid race of giants. It promised to be tedious, for the cities were great and fenced. They would have to be taken by stubborn siege. Such was his clear assessment of the outlook. But note also his calm assurance of the outlook. If so be the Lord will be with me, he was counting on the Lord's presence, then I shall be able to drive them out, as the Lord said. He was counting on the Lord's presence. Verse 12. Finally, Caleb followed the Lord faithfully. There were no stops and starts in his commitment, nothing but a steady walk with God. Years ago, Alan Redpath, a well-known preacher and former pastor of Moody Church, was crossing the Atlantic on the Queen Elizabeth. He made friends with one of the ship's engineers. The man took him down to see the mighty engines roaring and pounding in the depths of the ship. Then he took him back to the stern of the boat, where the drive shafts throbbed and screamed as they turned the giant propellers that drove the mighty floating hotel through the water, all 83,000 tons of it. Back in the chief engineer's cabin, Alan ventured a comment. I suppose, he said, those drive shafts and propellers must be going around at an enormous speed. It's plain that you are no engineer, replied the officer. I could get those propellers going fast, Alan. That would just dig a big hole in the water and the ship would come to a stop. I have 48 engineers under me on this ship, he added, and they are constantly calculating the ratio between revolutions per minute in the engine room and steadiness at the point of drive. Steadiness. That was the word. That is the word that sums up Caleb. He was steady. He wholly followed the Lord, come what may, and may the Lord help us to do the same as we live for him this week. God bless you today. Join me tomorrow for another daily devotional.